For most of my life, I had been an overweight person. I remember back in high school that I just couldn't wait to finish class for the day, so I could rush home to play video games and eat snacks for like hours and hours and hours. The funny thing is that even though I knew that I should spend my time on more productive things, I couldn't help myself but going back to the same habits again and again. The reality was that the video games and eating the bad foods, they became a way for me to escape my real life. You know, in real life, I was this shy and insecure person with like no confidence whatsoever. But in my video games, however, I was this person with, a lot of status. And people used to compliment me like all the time because I was so good at the game, right? Like a complete opposite of what it was in real life. Losing weight was something that was always on the back of my mind, like every single day. But I just felt so confused on what I should do about it. I've been watching like countless and countless of YouTube videos about it. But the more I watched, it just seemed to make it more complicated than it should be. People told me to do this kind of workout. But then in another video, they told me why that kind of workout is bad for you. They told me to do this type of cardio. But then in another video, that cardio was bad for you. So it just turned into this endless cycle over and over. This was a couple of years ago. And since that time, I have managed to take my body from looking like this to now looking like this. And I'm going to explain to you how you can basically outsmart the game of weight loss by making it more simple for yourself and at the same time get so much faster results. Quick side note, add me on Discord if you want to talk about fitness and get personal advice from me. I'll put my username on the screen right here, but also in the description. Alright, so before we even start losing weight, we have to do something that is very important and that gets overlooked by most people, including me when I first started. And that is to find your reason why. What do I exactly mean by this? I mean that in order for you to take your weight loss seriously and start seeing progress, you have to find a strong reason why you want to change in the first place. I was a shy and insecure kid growing up, right? So the reason why I wanted to lose weight wasn't just for the sake of losing weight itself. I wanted to stop being this shy and insecure kid. I just wanted confidence in myself and actually be happy with the way that I looked. So what I want you to do is to really think about why do you want to lose weight in the first place? And the stronger the reason you come up with, the better. Maybe you got bullied when you were younger, or people have always made fun of your weight for as long as you can remember. The reason this is so important to do before we start losing weight is because this is what's going to keep you motivated once the times get tough. Because trust me when I say this, sooner or later they definitely will. The times when you don't feel like eating the food that you should be eating, or doing the workout that you should do. Times like these, that's when you remind yourself of why you started in the first place. Because that's what's going to keep you going, instead of leaving it for tomorrow's you instead. Once you figure out your reason why, then we can move on to the next step, and that is to be in a calorie deficit. And whoa, hold your horses. I know what you're thinking right now. You heard this word like a million times before, because I used to feel the exact same way. And like every time you heard it, it just seems to get more and more confusing, right? The only thing that you have to think about when it comes to a calorie deficit is that you consume less calories throughout the day, so that your body starts using your fat as fuel and not only the food you consume. So in short, you move more and eat a little bit less. Now, I know that when I said eating less food, you probably got a bit scared, right? Because I don't know about you, but when I used to hear eating a bit less, it basically gave me PTSD. You just think about these boring ass salads and drinking like water every single day, right? Because that's like the standard. But trust me when I say this, it doesn't have to be that way whatsoever. The approach I want you to take is to eat the foods that you actually enjoy eating. I don't mean that you can go and have burgers and pizza every day, but I think you get the point I'm trying to make. What I recommend you to do, and what I did personally, was to stick to the foods that are unprocessed. What this basically means is the foods with one single ingredient, like potatoes, rice, chicken, fish, meat, and so on. There are like endless healthy recipes out there. So you just have to try for yourself and see which ones you like. And when you find out the few recipes that you like, then you can just rotate them over and over, so it doesn't have to get stale with same meals every day. As of the part where we start moving more, I recommend you just the very basic thing of doing more walking. When I first started, I went for like 10 to 15 minute walks every single day. And this was an easy way for me to get more exercise in without really having to stress my body out whatsoever. And over time, you just gradually increase the amount that you walk. A tip that I can give you, and I personally used myself, is to just be aware of taking the stairs more. For example, if you're outside doing errands or seeing friends or whatever, if there is an option to take the stairs instead of the escalator, then just always take the stairs. Let's say you want to go up like 1 or 2 floors with an elevator, then just take the stairs instead. Doing something basic like this on a daily basis on top of your daily walks, that makes a massive difference in the long run. Trust me when I say this. What I use to keep myself more accountable, when it comes to the steps, is that I got myself a step counter. There's like multiple apps that you can use on your phone. But for me personally, I just like having something on my wrist because then I'm always reminded of it. Just to make it a bit more fun for myself, I decided to make a step goal for every single day. And that was 10,000 steps. And this became like a daily mission for me to complete. And whenever I saw, the 10,000 steps on my step counter, it gave me this dopamine boost that just felt really nice. Alright, so I told you about the eating part and then the moving part. But now you probably have the question, but how do I know if I'm actually losing weight? How you figure this out is that you weigh yourself every single morning after you've gone to the bathroom, and then you just write the weight down. I would recommend you to just use notes on your phone. It doesn't have to be complicated whatsoever. I'll put a picture on the screen right now so you can see. Just write the date down and then next to it you write the weight. And this takes like 5 seconds to do, and then you know the weight until the next day. The goal that I had was to lose 1 kilo a week or 2 pounds. And at first you will lose so much more weight than this because a lot of it is just water weight. But as time goes on, it will slow down more and more, and this is the goal that you want to aim for. So basically weigh yourself every single morning after you've gone to the bathroom, and if the weight remains the same or has gone up, after a couple of days, then you have to adjust something. And what I recommend you to do first is to increase the amount that you walk. Instead of removing the food that you eat, just increase the amount of walking you do to maybe 5 or 10 minutes extra, and then look again on the scale. Once you see that you're losing weight, then just keep doing that same amount of walking over and over until you stop losing weight again, and that's when you adjust. Be patient with doing this and don't rush ahead of yourself, because there's only 2 things that's going to happen if you rush. First, you get yourself an injury, or second, it's going to be too much at the start and you are going to end up quitting. Alright, this leads me on to the final step and the most important of them all. This step right here was the main contributor to take my body from looking like this to now looking like this, and that is to make it a new lifestyle rather than something temporary. I don't know about you, but when I used to hear the word diet, I always used to think about something that you do for a short amount of time and then you go back to your old habits. That's exactly what I used to do back in the day before I changed my approach. If you actually want to start seeing results, then you must turn it into a new lifestyle, rather than something that you do for a certain time period and then you just stop completely. Here's the harsh truth. The majority of people who go on these diets and do it as something temporary, once they go back to their old ways, all that weight that they lost is just slowly coming back again, and they end up in the same position they were in, or maybe even worse. The way you avoid falling into this trap is to turn it into a new lifestyle rather than something temporary. And when I started having this approach instead, fitness and weight loss actually was enjoyable and so much more simple. Just think about it. What is the point of you eating chicken, broccoli and rice every single day if you don't even like it in the first place? If you don't even like it to begin with, there's just no way that you will stay consistent. And staying consistent is what's giving you the results. Food is supposed to be enjoyable and not something that makes you literally suffer. You got to have the mindset that this is something you can adjust over the rest of your life, in one way or another. Because I don't know about you, but I want to keep looking good and stay healthy for as long as possible. Find out the foods that you enjoy eating and find the recipes that are convenient to make and also tasty. This is the key to you staying consistent, and I have literally no problems myself eating the same foods over and over as long as they taste good. One thing to remember is that you don't rush the process. Let's say I like chicken but you don't like it, then find out different recipes to use. Let's say I like going to the gym and doing one exercise but you don't like that exercise, then try something else. I like going to the gym personally, but maybe that's not for you. Maybe you want to do bodyweight exercises instead, so don't be afraid to experiment. The faster you find out the things that you enjoy doing, the faster you will start to make progress and actually be consistent. You know, if you enjoy what you're doing, it's like 10 times easier to actually do the necessary work because it doesn't feel like a chore anymore and it's actually enjoyable. So a quick summary, how to outsmart the game of weight loss. Number 1, find your reason why and dig deep to find it. Number 2, be in a calorie deficit. You move more and eat a little bit less. Number 3, turn it into a lifestyle and not something temporary. Remember to add me on Discord and I'm happy to give you more advice about this. I'll put my username on the screen right now, but also in the description. And thanks for watching.